liked, and I sort of ripped through and I left him behind. Then I'm sitting on the bike and I just got my hands having a rest, sort of my elbows and that leaning on the handlebars. The bike's turned off and I looked ahead and I seen movement. And like I do a bit of hunting and that sort of thing, and it's sort of movement, sort of one of the first things that pick you up on things. I looked ahead and I thought, what's that? I started looking and I thought, that's when I looked, and like I said, mate, I had a clear view. But I could see from about the shoulders up. I was looking at it and it was sort of hanging onto a tree, leaning out. Had it sort of half its body sort of leaning out looking at me. And I'm sort of going through the stage of disbelief. And I'm looking straight at the thing. It was probably about 150 metres away. And I'm like, fuck, I don't believe this. And then when my mate, probably a couple of minutes later, he started coming up behind, it walked off. And as it walked off, I'm starting to think, and the first thing I said to Tim was, it looked like a gorilla. There was bushes and stuff blocking the view of its body, but like I said, it was hanging onto the tree and it was leaning out onto the track, if you know what I mean.
And looking at you?
Yeah.
How big was this thing in relation to you?
6 foot, roughly. This thing looked like a gorilla, like gorilla's face sort of thing, dark-faced. What I could distinctly see was it would have like a mullet haircut, like long hair, but it had hair all over it. The thing that I noticed the most about it was muscle-bound. Yeah, mate, I could see the muscles on its shoulders, or one shoulder, and I could see its biceps.
Wow.
And its forearm that was hanging out.
Covered in hair?
Yeah, all covered in black hair, or dark hair. Its body was covered in shorter hair. When I say shorter hair, probably about an inch. About an inch long. Sort of, that's what the perception that I got looking at it. Its head hair was longer.
In terms of what it did, it leaned out on the track, looked at you, and then what did it do after that as you're watching it?
Well, it just sat there looking at me, and I sat there looking at it, eyeball to eyeball. Like I said, probably 100 to 150 metres away. And basically sat there looking at me, and because I didn't move, I just sat still when I seen it. And then it was probably only a minute and a half, say 2 minutes later, Tim started coming up on his bike. And as he started to come up behind me, that's when it walked off. It didn't cross the track, it went back into the bush.
And you could see it walking?
Yeah. This is where I started thinking, no, it's not like I've seen its head, mate, I know what I'm looking at. And it's just, I'm trying to throw everything through my mind because I'm somebody that's sort of sceptical about these things.
So it was almost like you're trying to tell yourself you weren't seeing what you just saw.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to do. Now, what I noticed was this thing was about 2 foot thick through the chest. I've never seen anything which, when you're looking at bodybuilders and fit people, the chest on this thing was just incredible.
It's the same height as you, but really chunky.
Yeah, like no human can get, like, you know how bodybuilders get chunky and they just get oversized and whatever. This thing just looked like high performance. If you can understand what I'm getting at, it was just incredible.
So it looked like it had a hell of a lot of power in its body structure.
Yeah, but it didn't look like bodybuilders get. Like, I could see the neck muscles on it.
Now, you know when it's looking at you, and we know when you look at somebody and you might get a vibe like it's happy, sad, neutral, whatever. Did you get any kind of vibe from this thing?
This thing was inquisitive, like it was looking at me for a reason. Like just inquisitive. It was checking me out like I was checking it out. I did not see any sign of aggression.
So it was bodybuild of a human?
Bodybuild of a human, but not a normal human.
Because what you're talking about is something that's a hell of a lot more bulked up than a human.
Yeah, but not bulked up like a bodybuilder. Like the proportion of this thing was just. It's just the thing that stands out the most. Its shoulders were round, like round with muscle.
Did it have a big head or a little head?
It was all in proportion. Like if you had to say anything, like looking at a very, very fit, large human being. It just walked off casual, and that's when I seen his chest as it went sort of from behind one bush to behind trees sort of thing.
So you had sort of a side-on view of the thing.
Yeah, I had a side-on view, mate, and I just thought to myself, fuck me, I've never seen anything like it. You see where I'm getting about bodybuilders. Bodybuilders get over muscle bound, but this thing, the chest on this thing was just incredible. It's the same thing like a bodybuilder where it tapers down, but it was still like it's still large at the bottom, but it just, when you're looking from the side view, it just come out. Seen arms, a head, seen its eyes.
Looking at its face, you said it was a dark colour?
Mate, I was eyeballing the thing. Yeah, its face was, this is where I got the gorilla impression. But no wrinkles. I couldn't see wrinkles on it, whether it was a distance or whatever, but I could see its eyes.
You were looking at the face of what looked like kind of an ape.
You know how apes have got a really dominant jaw?
Yeah, like a muzzle.
Yeah, well, I can't remember. That didn't stand out to me.
But you weren't looking at a human face.
No. This thing wasn't human. But, like, you know, when bodybuilders get on the steroids and pump themselves right up, it's like shoulder muscles and biceps weren't like that. It was more like an oversized athlete where everything's just toned and strong.
This just came out from the side, like leaning out, looking at you.
Yeah, I just pulled up and I was just sitting there having a rest because I'd taken off on a bit of track that I enjoyed or found that I liked. Well, it's top part of its body, like its shoulders and head. And I could see an arm dangling down. You know, like you say, you're swinging off a pole, sort of leaning out off a pole, and you got one arm dangling and just looked at me. We're probably a kilometre off a main road. Like, if you turn 90 degrees off a main road and walk through the bush. Anywhere from 500 metres to a kilometre off. But when I say it's a main road, it might get 10 cars go up at a week. Basically overgrown down the bottom end. Nobody's been down it for a long while.
How long from the start of when you saw it to when it walked off and wasn't visible anymore, how long was that period, do you reckon?
Somewhere between 2 or 3 minutes.
Your mate comes up on the bike. What did you say to him?
I said, fuck, I said, fuck you.